Welcome, and thank you for joining us for this session of Microsoft Ignite, Skilling for Security, Forging the Workforce of the Future. In this session, we'll be discussing the current global deficit of cybersecurity professionals, initiatives that are being taken to address this shortage, and also actionable steps for supporting industry growth. Hi everyone, I'm Naria Santalucia. I'm the General Manager for Digital Inclusion at Microsoft, and I have the pleasure today of being joined by two individuals well-versed in the current state of cybersecurity roles. First, we have Troy Amick. He's the Program Director of Information Technology Pathway at Laramie County Community College in the state of Wyoming in the US. And Rainier Moquette. He is the founder and CEO of cyberwarrior.com, a cybersecurity service provider that consults to some of the world's top brands on cybersecurity. So welcome, Troy and Rainier, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Naria.
Thank you, Naria. Thanks for the invitation.
All right, so with almost 500,000 cybersecurity positions unfilled in the United States and an estimated global shortfall of 3.5 million security professionals in 2021, I wanted Troy and Rainier to join me today so that we can look more closely at the current state of cybersecurity. We'll also discuss what can be done to address this growing gap and how we build a strong cybersecurity talent pipeline. To start with, I'll just kick off and maybe kick this one over first to Troy. So in your mind, what are the biggest gaps in talent within the cybersecurity industry right now? Are there specifically roles or disciplines that you're seeing where there gaps truly exist?
Absolutely. What I see with the gaps currently are heavily in the introductory level, but they're also spreading across the specialized fields. Due to the fact that there's such a need for cybersecurity professionals in the industry as a whole, we're seeing this talent dry up, that the entry-level professionals are being developed, they're moving forward, yet there's not enough to backfeed for them. Organizations are also starting to look at they need specialized talent. They need someone who's, say, very versed in Palo Alto gear. And that specialized talent is not naturally out there. And organizations are finding they're really having to develop that talent in-house.
It's interesting, and would be curious, Rainier, to hear from you too. Any kind of specific gaps that you see within security industry right now, or is it kind of a broad gap?
Well, there's definitely a broad gap. However, there are areas of particularly dire needs. One of them, for example, is that intersection between cybersecurity and business. One of the things that we often see is for hiring managers to be looking for folks that have business acumen. At the end of the day, cybersecurity aims to enable business to move forward faster and to be able to address client demands, customer demands. And so that intersection between business acumen and risk management are really well intertwined and should be as folks are getting trained as well as they're looking to grow within the industry.
Yeah, so I think really interesting point, Rainier, that you raise, a lot kind of heavily focused on kind of the tech industry and cloud and all those features. Do you feel like it's, if I was someone in the community, just think about joining and joining the cybersecurity workforce, do you think I have to be specifically within tech, or do you think are there opportunities across the board in different regions and countries from what you've seen?
Well, there's definitely a ton of opportunities. I mean, both in terms of the background that folks can bring to the table as well as the geography. And I'll split up the question. Number one, as you think about backgrounds, there are folks that are coming with an auditing background, as an example. Maybe they studied accounting. There are other folks that perhaps had an interest in software development early on. There are other folks that perhaps have a background in networking. There are others that simply have a background in project management. As you see many veterans, for example, they've been able to manage large-scale initiatives and budgets. And a lot of those are very, very transferable skills into the security industry. And what you really need to do is you need to peel back the onion a little more as to what are the actual skills behind the job that both the individual was doing, as well as what are some of the career opportunities that are available there, and then taking the time to really match those two in order to ensure that the person is able to transition most smoothly into the industry. Outside of that, from a geography perspective, it's certainly a global issue.
I'm just curious about the makeup of the talent pipeline for cybersecurity. And sometimes I think a way to think about this is, we have all these in-demand roles and we know that they're going to be great jobs with, high wage and kind of available for a long time and evergreen in nature. And then you look at the current workforce within cybersecurity and it traditionally is less diverse. And I think some of the statistics, in the US, for example, 80% male, 80% white. So I'm just curious if either one of you have a kind of thought about the diversity in the pipeline and what you think we could potentially do to really think about not only, as a workforce opportunity for diverse individuals, but also so that the technology and, so that the solutions are produced in a more diverse way so that could benefit all. Just curious if you had any thoughts of that. Maybe we could start with Troy.
I'd love to answer that question, actually. There is a very serious diversity problem in IT as a whole. Cybersecurity just amplifies it. What we see a lot of is, as you mentioned, heavily white male or Asian male in the programs and in the development pipeline. There is a huge need for women and people of color. But there's also a direct correlation to the education people received or the traditional roles. People who come from lower income communities who may not have the opportunity to experience cybersecurity, to experience IT as a whole in their youth or in their daily lives, can really struggle to enter this field. They can struggle to believe that they can do this, that they're empowered to do this. So there's a big push behind driving those individuals and getting that engagement into the community and engagement into the field. With that, there's a opportunity because companies are actively looking for increasing their own diversity and giving back. And I think that's got to be a big push for all companies to look at what they can do to give back. And sometimes that might be just as simple as offering time, giving job shadows to underprivileged schools or getting people involved. Sometimes it's just you got to light a spark in order for them to light the fire.
The inspiration gap is real. I think you both hit the nail on the head. And I do love what you said, Rainier, about the education pipeline, and we need to start early. And, we've been finding, with programs like that we have, like the TEALS program that helps to bring computer science to schools that don't have it. We just added a cyber track, and the students are just really engaged and excited about that. But I'm just curious about speak more, if I could just push a little bit on that whole inspiration gap point, because we do have an issue now, right? There is an urgency now as well on the talent, but also on the diversity angle. What besides the inspiration gap, what are the other barriers? Maybe let's say somebody who I'll just give a little use case here. Maybe somebody who has, during the pandemic, decided that they're going to step away from a retail job. And, now they're kind of thinking, hey, what's next? And they're lifting their head up. What would you say to that person about kind of cybersecurity and where they could even get started and how they could move forward?
Our programs run about 70% non-traditional students. These are people who have been out in the world. They've explored, they've tried careers, they've had careers in retail or in food service or just general careers that don't have a solid future to them. And they come back to try to make a difference in their lives. Putting funding and opportunities in place to really promote the diversity and pull new people into the program is one of the core pieces in order to drive the future and fix the problem today. That is a definite need. It is wholly recognized. And the awesome part to me is our non-traditional students have our highest success rates. When we give them opportunities, when we give them a chance to change their lives, the number of students that will seize that and run with it is absolutely astounding to me.
Have you seen kind of for both of you maybe, but starting with Rainier, have you seen any specific industries or career paths that seem to have the easiest path to kind of the transferable skills into cyber, or do you think that that's all something that can be, taught or acquired? You mentioned veterans. Is it military, law enforcement, finance, or is that kind of like a myth?
Well, I feel veterans are the ones that are best positioned, candidly. They have discipline, leadership skills, and obviously can work extremely well under pressure. And so veterans, in my opinion, are the ones that are best primed to come into the industry. However, these are skills that are certainly teachable, and that anyone who is hungry and is willing to put in the time and effort can learn.
And Troy, would love to talk a little bit about your program at Laramie County Community College. Could you share a little bit about kind of the program that you offer for students?
Absolutely. So our program, we have lots of options. The goal for us is to change people's lives. 100%, that's it. And we want to do that through an education model which differs from what they're used to. Everything that we've done is geared towards industry and our alignment to industry. We partner with industry for mentorships, for internships, for mock interviews, for recruiting channels, and industry guides all of our decisions. Our entire faculty staff are industry professionals. We are not professional teachers. We are people who worked in the field. We offer everything from take one course and get this associated certification to take this semester of courses and get this credit diploma, or take these 3 credit diplomas along with a few gen eds and have yourself an associate's degree. We tried to build a program that allowed the student to build their own future. If they're interested in cybersecurity, network administration, and virtualization and cloud, they can combine those concepts together into their own degree. We tied all of our courses into industry certifications, so there's always a standard. Employers always know that it does not matter if the instructor was easy, if they were difficult, the student earned the certification. It's the great equalizer. The other things we focused really heavily on was practical application. We made sure that every one of our courses have demonstrable skill set application exams, so that as students graduate and they come into an interview and you get the tell me about a time question, the students are able to answer that with something that they actually did. Oftentimes able to show a portfolio with an example of exactly what they did. And then finally, we decided to try something a little different. The pandemic had a lot of bad parts to it, but it had a lot of opportunity for us to grow. So one of the things we've done is we've taken all of our courses within our IT programs and we deliver them in a format called HighFlex. In that regard, students choose week by week, class by class, if they're going to attend in person through a live stream synchronous to the regular in-person class, or through the recorded lecture and work on their own online. The single parent who has a kid get sick and has to miss class, they no longer have to lose on that knowledge. They get the opportunity to still gain it just like everyone else. The student who starts purely online because their work wouldn't allow them to can now say, oh, hey, I changed jobs at week 3, and now I can come in to every single in-person class. It has been a massive lift, but the ability for students to make their education fit their lives as opposed to making their lives fit their education has been absolutely astounding.
That's amazing. It sounds like such a comprehensive, super thoughtful approach that you're taking with the ability to kind of like determine your own path, have education fit your life. That's brilliant. Bringing in industry, and you really tackled that one point where if you're just finishing a program, an academic program, how do you know if you can actually do the work? And that hands-on experience is so key. So congratulations on a great approach and great program. And Rainier, I know you obviously have your consult to many of the global brands around cybersecurity, but I know that you're also playing your part to upskill and train individuals in cybersecurity. So I'd love to hear from you about your program at Cyber Warriors as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, cyberwarrior.com is a combination of three entities. It's Cyber Warrior Online, which is an e-learning platform, Cyber Warrior Academy, which is an 800-hour boot camp, and then Cyber Warrior Consulting, which is a consulting services company. And that's actually our legacy. It's providing penetration testing, cloud security, different types of security-oriented systems integration work for places like Mass General Hospital, Harvard University, Dartmouth College, among others, in financial services and healthcare, obviously, biotech, et cetera. And so, but for the last decade, I've been very, very involved in workforce development activities here in Massachusetts. I was part of Governor Patrick's STEM Advisory Council. I was part of Governor Baker's Commission for Digital Innovation and Lifelong Learning. And so we felt that it was absolutely necessary to align our philanthropic and workforce development endeavors with the consulting work that we were doing day by day. And that's where Cyber Warrior Academy was born. Initially, we started off with doing in-person work. We had a great partnership with, and still do, with the University of Massachusetts, and that allowed us to deliver coursework at their campus. Yet with COVID, that totally changed things for us, and it ended up being a very positive thing, although it forced us to move our program completely online to a live online model, where instead of it being in person, we deliver our courses using video conference on a daily basis. It did allow us to dramatically scale what we were doing and make the programming available to people across the country. We've then taken that further, and we've developed an entire e-learning platform, and so folks can consume that computer-based training at their own pace versus the very, very intense structure of the academy.
That's fantastic. And again, such a great comprehensive approach. And to the point about having your students and your cohort members help nonprofits, I think that's brilliant, because nonprofits are, kind of one of those entities that are consistently also, the data show, attacked by cybersecurity and by ransomware, et cetera. So again, really great comprehensive approach. At Microsoft as well, we're really thinking about how do we help individuals at all levels of the talent pipeline think about security. Microsoft Learn all the time, 360 days a year, free learning content. We have almost 50 learning paths with 200 modules plus, totaling over 140 hours of learning content available to anybody at Microsoft Learn. Last year, we actually launched a global skilling initiative to help at the beginning of COVID, especially help people gain those digital skills for the COVID economy. And we've reached nearly 48 million people globally with that, but more importantly, 2 million individuals have engaged with some form of cyber security training as well as a part of that initiative, which is fantastic. And most importantly, the work that's close to my heart is that we get to partner with folks like you, Troy, and Rainier, and your organizations to really think about underserved communities and job seekers, and how do we get them skilled for cyber, but other pathways as well, and then connect them with jobs. So it's tremendous to hear kind of how you are able to really take that deep approach with individuals, and we're so pleased to be able to work alongside you with that and help in any way that we can. So with that, I wanted to transition a little bit now that we've kind of framed out the problem and the talent gap. really thinking about just at the various levels, like whether they're leaders of businesses or IT professionals who are thinking about cybersecurity, or those job seeker audiences. Maybe we could just do a couple questions about how we can really engage those individuals to help develop the workforce. So maybe starting with you, Rainier, because I know that you are working with a lot of different companies and brands around their cybersecurity needs. So for leaders, what actions do you think that leaders could take to really ensure an adequate talent pipeline as their security teams grow and evolve?
Well, one of the first steps that I think that they should take is ensure that diversity is at the forefront of their initiatives. One of the things that we have seen is the importance of referrals, right? And the fact that when leaders are looking for talent, they're able to tap into their existing workforce and leverage those folks as a means of getting the word out that they are an employer of choice. It's not sufficient to simply put a job post online on any of the social media platforms. You're really going to have to, particularly for security talent, you're going to have to go out there and proactively recruit and or have access to unique talent pipelines, such as Troy's program, such as cyberwarrior.com. And however, the difficulty is that today, many leaders don't have a good grasp on how to permeate diversity throughout their organizations and how to motivate the entire org structure to work towards a more diverse and inclusive workforce. And so one of the things that we often talk about is that it does need to start at the top, and the management team needs to engage the other leaders, directors, and managers, help them understand that cybersecurity is help them understand that diversity is a priority for the organization, and develop structured programming that allows for folks coming through for interviews to be properly evaluated on the merit of their skills and their potential contributions, rather than potentially face biases and the type of things that we often see in job interviews, where that unconscious bias, the fact that someone has a different background, they went to a different school, they perhaps have a different accent, they eat different foods, they do different things on the weekends, right? Those things sometimes hinder the opportunity for leaders to recruit top talent. And it's certainly one of the things that we advise folks to look out for and to create solutions proactively to overcome.
I think industry professionals need to take a hard look at themselves and what they're doing to actively engage and promote not just people that they're looking for or the people that they have hand chosen, but planning for their futures. As Rainier said, partnering with cyberwarrior.com, partnering with us, helping develop this talent pipeline. One of the things we see a lot is industry is planning to, I need this person and they need this skill set, and go get them. When in reality, there may be a technician that is already working at the help desk that has that skill set, and you just need to invest in them. We see it so frequently that we want the finished product right now, and we miss the opportunity to develop talent that we already have, or to recognize that talent in a different field. You know, one of the most successful students I see actually don't come from finance or military or anything else. Where they come from? Service industry. They have the ability to build connections, to work with people. And I think industry gets, to Rainier's point, they put blinders on. And we say, oh, well, they don't fit this mold. They don't fit that perception of what I think I need, as opposed to looking at the opportunities and how to help develop those.
That's great. And so, you know, kind of a lightning question, I guess. So besides the certs, which are table stakes, and the paranoia, the natural curiosity and paranoia, Troy, that you mentioned, what in your mind, what's a characteristic that every cybersecurity professional truly needs to have?
A passion to problem solve. That's really the core of it. That What we do is going out there and trying to find holes and patch them and teach people how to be aware and how did this break? And how did they do this? And how do we prevent that from ever happening again? That passion around problem solving and constantly learning, if you don't have that, you're really going to struggle to succeed.
Oh, that's great. Rainier.
Autodidact. You have to be capable of teaching yourself, and you have to love every minute of it. If you are not comfortable learning new things and throwing yourself into the middle of a problem, into the middle of a new concept, and then just banging your head against the wall until you master that and do so on your own, you're going to have a lot of trouble growing within the cybersecurity industry. Yes, certifications are important, but the reality is that there's so many things coming out. And sometimes it's not a big course that you need to take on. It's simply the ability to learn a new tool. And so I think that being an autodidact is one of the most important things for any cybersecurity professional.
That's great. So you heard it today. If you love learning, love problem solving, you should think about a career in cybersecurity. So this has been such a fabulous conversation with the two of you, and I've really enjoyed our time together. Just in closing, just wanted to open the floor and just ask, is there anything that you really wanted to cover today that you didn't have a chance to?
Well, my last thought would be to employers. If you're looking for talent, cyberwarrior.com has them, and we have them for free. Come to our website, contact us. We have security analysts, again, lots of diversity. We have folks with security clearances, all types of folks that are interested in working for employers who are working to invest back into their ongoing growth and that have interesting projects and interesting challenges to take on. So if you're looking for talent, go to cyberwarrior.com. We have both full-time folks available for you, as well as staff augmentation services with folks that are offshore. And of course, we also have consulting services that we can provide. And we do so not only leveraging experts with 20, 25 years experience in the industry, but then we bring along our students as an opportunity to grow. So anytime you engage with us, you're giving back to the community and you're helping to cultivate the next generation of professionals.
Troy, any places where anybody who is watching today could learn more about your programs?
Absolutely. Anyone who's interested in our programs, you can go to lccc.wy.edu. Within that, you'll select the information technology pathway, and you'll see all your options for your future.
Wonderful. Well, again, thank you so much, Troy and Rainier, for joining me today. It was a pleasure having you. It was wonderful speaking with you about these topics. It's so clear that there is an immediate need for more individuals to fill these roles. And it's also really heartening to know that there are lots of solutions to make sure that we have that diverse pipeline available as well. And with that, thank you so much, Troy and Rainier. It was wonderful speaking with you about the cybersecurity talent pipeline and skilling on security and forging the cybersecurity workforce of the future. Would welcome everyone to learn more by going to our Microsoft Security Technical Content Library. You can find the URL on the screen. And with that, enjoy the rest of Microsoft Ignite.
We've already learned so much here at Microsoft Ignite. We've learned how to protect our organizations against the latest adversarial trends, stay resilient while managing risk and compliance, and how to strengthen our security posture from some of the industry's principal thought leaders. Now, get excited as we look ahead to the future of security in today's upcoming sessions. Hi, I'm Jessica Feku, Security Product Marketing Manager here at Microsoft. We just saw Microsoft General Manager of Digital Inclusion, Naria Santa Lucia, joined by Program Director of Information Technology Pathway at Laramie County Community College, Troy Amick, and the founder and CEO of cyberwarrior.com, Raina Moquette, as they discuss the current gap that the cybersecurity workforce is experiencing and how organizations can approach addressing this urgent need. Learn more about this and how you can confidently embrace the future of security by checking out our other sessions. Explore cloud security's top trends, emerging risks, and potential obstacles with Cloud Security Product Marketing Manager Adam Young and Forrester's analyst Andres Cesar in Breakout 249 as they share practical guidance on how you can protect your infrastructure, platform, and software as a service services. Join Microsoft's Director of IoT and Industrial Cybersecurity Phil Naray and Gartner analyst Cottrell Thielemann during Breakout Session 250 for a discussion on how you can create a cyber physical system risk strategy using the language of business to underline the role of security as a tactical business enabler. And you won't want to miss this discussion with Microsoft Principal Program Manager Aaron Miyake, Principal Engineering Program Manager Glenn Coletta, and Senior Program Manager Maud Teja, joined by Carnegie Mellon's Dan Costa on a discussion about the unique challenges of insider risk and how to build an effective insider risk management program to meet these needs. Do you have any questions about anything you've heard in today's sessions? Ask us in the chat. Join us with live subject matter experts that are available during every session. If you can't make a session, don't worry, we've got you covered. Everything's available on demand at aka.ms/msignite21_security/on-demand. For the latest on what's happening in Microsoft security, visit us on the web at www.microsoft.com/security or follow us on social at MSFT Security on Twitter and Microsoft Security on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for joining us at Microsoft Ignite.